Hey y'all, it's Kara and Wyatt with Goat Fort Farm, and today we are going to be clearing out some brush. We have some area over here that's a little bit overgrown still, and we're going to try and get that fixed up. Then I want to go over the test results with y'all that we did on our goats. We drew some blood and sent it off to the lab before those does are bred, and we got the results back. So we'll go back over that whenever the goats come home, because currently they're grazing and probably over there somewhere, but they'll eventually come home. Yeah. Well, I had to take me a water break. I don't know if you can tell, but I am as shiny as a bubble right now. Whew, that is a workout, pushing that thing around. Now, it does help push itself, but you still have to put some oomph behind it. And, well, the electrophysiologist, I did see him. He said strength training and continuing cardio is really the best thing, other than the medicine I'm on, for me to do to try and increase my vagal tone, which kind of calms the body down. So I think this qualifies. I think we did some strength training pushing this thing around, and I'll still ride my recumbent bike later. But just check it out. We can walk so much better through here now, and we're gonna keep chipping away at this until we get all the way down the hill to where the butt pin is down there. And well, let me show you what Wyatt cut too. You might have seen it in the background. Wyatt got a little chainsaw working and came over here and chopped down these little pine trees that are just growing growing like crazy up here. And we'll be able to give this to the goats. Goats love pine, and I've heard it's a natural dewormer for them. So I'll give some to the bucks too. You can see we're at the top of the hill, and the buck pen is that right down there. We don't see any of them right now, but that's it, right down there. And so we're getting this all clean, and very soon we'll be staining this a nice dark wood stain. I think that'll be pretty. But it's a nice large area right here. We just haven't been able to really use it. But the goats, man, the goats, they've been coming up here and they have eaten it down. So if we can get these remaining sticks pushed over and cut, then we can end up getting some underbrush growing here that then they can eat on, because sunlight has a hard time making it to this bottom dirt right here. But this will really help it out. And Wyatt, he's been doing a great job with that little machine. He's been picking up some little jobs in town with it and doing really well. He does a great job working with it. And like I said, it is not easy work. But it's a cool little machine, and it can clear some stuff out. It's been a blessing for us to have it, that's for sure. What we'll probably have to do is pile up these sticks that are left over, make a big pile somewhere, and then have a wonderful campfire. And then that burnt soil or burnt wood will then help fertilize the soil. It all ties back into itself in the end. Well, he keeps cutting a little bit longer. I'm gonna go ahead and take this little pine tree, actually it's two of them, stuck together, over to the boys. And hopefully the does are back and we can talk about those test results. We always blood test every year before we pair up our goats to make baby goats. And we have a few reasons for that. The main reason, of course, for doing the blood testing that we do, where we test for 3 big goat diseases: CAE, CL, and Johne's, which each of them in their own way, you can look them up, I talked about them in the video where we drew the blood, but each of them in their own way debilitate the animal to where they're either not productive, not as productive, or they have to be put down. And so we don't want to produce animals that don't have longevity, right? And so we test for those. Make sure the babies that we sell, which, you know, they cost a good little amount, but they're backed with that confidence that they don't come from parents with those diseases. And that makes you feel good. And another reason it's really important for us to test our animals and make sure they're free of those diseases is, well, we milk our goats and we use the milk. And whenever we have bottle babies, whether they're pulled from their moms or we purchase bottle babies, they need to be able to have any of our does' milk, because we milk them all out, and all of that milk goes into one large container for storage and, I mean, all sorts of purposes. It just makes it so much easier to be able to pull all the milk together. And when I know that they're disease-free, then I can do that with confidence. And again, it just makes it so much easier to handle. So this year we tested the new ones to the herd, which of our boys, the new boys, are Baker and Boots. Cash and Silver have been tested and are clear of those diseases. And so I did not retest any of the old ones. I just tested the babies that were born into the herd, as well as the ones that we purchased and brought in. So Baker and Boots, they came from a farm that is near Houston, and they tested all clear for CAE, CL, and Johne's. So they are good to go. And Baker actually has some babies that will be arriving in November. Hello, Scout. Hey, boy. And like most things tend to be animal specific. For example, worms that affect the chickens And the guineas, don't bother the goats. And worms that affect the goats don't affect the chickens. Even though we know that coccidia, for example, can affect both animals, it's a different strain of coccidia that targets each of them. So, not exactly the same. And as for my girls, we purchased 2 does into the herd from that same herd in Houston, or near Houston. And those were Starfire and Raven. And then we had 4 girls that we retained from birthings or kiddings this past kidding season. So let's look at them and talk about their results. Now, these girls that were born into the herd, they were given milk from all of the moms. You know, I talked about we like to be able to pull all that milk together. So with that, if any of the does that we milked and were bottle feeding that milk to the babies had those diseases, then any or all of them could have contracted them, right? So it's super important to test and make sure. But all of them, Nova, Emma's girl, Mia on the right, and Mona on the left, and that is Dawn, the silver girl, in between them. All of them tested negative for CAE, CL, and Yonis. And our girls that we purchased from that farm that we got Baker and Boots from also tested negative for all 3. That's Starfire, the brown girl just staring at us, and that's Raven slyly giving us the side eye there. So I'm so very thankful that we got those results, and whenever these girls are mature enough to be able to be bred, we can do so with confidence. Hey friendlies. Hello my most friendly. Hey Franklin. Hey sweet Franklin. Oh, you are so sweet. He's a sweet boy. And also, even the ones that aren't registered, like Trixie, I know we talked about her possibly having been bred when she was in heat and the bucks broke out. She has been tested in the past. So if we have some surprise babies in mid-November to kick off our kidding season, it'll be okay. They'll be clear of those diseases and it'll all be fine. Happy little accidents, like Bob Ross said. And I would recommend that if you're trying to purchase dairy goats or registered goats, whether they're registered or not, I would recommend buying from a herd that tests for those diseases, because they really can. If an animal has them, it can cut their life so short. And you think you're going to have the goat for like 15 years. They can live up to 15 years. And you want those years to be healthy years where they can be productive and be at their best potential. And making sure they're disease-free, come from a clean herd, is just one step in doing that. Thanks for joining us on this one where we got some brush cleared. Really thankful for Wyatt's help with that, because whoo, man, we clear one area and there's always more. But that's a zone we're really hitting hard, and I think it's going to look super good when we get it done. I'm excited to be able to walk all of that and even ride the side-by-side over there, because currently we can't really ride the side-by-side very far on our side of the property. So it'd be nice to expand that. And what a relief it is to know that our goats are disease-free and we can go into this breeding season with just excitement about all the pairings. I'll have to share those pairing ideas with y'all soon. Of course, 2 pairings have already happened for the registered ones. Penny, right here, was bred to Silver, and Honey, oh, here's Honey, right here, my girl I always milk. She was bred to Baker, so I'm super stoked to see the first Baker babies. I think that'll be really cool. Hey Rocky, y'all are being so good this evening. Y'all are being so good. Y'all ate, and now it's nap time. So thanks for joining me again, and don't forget, if you have a dream, go for it. Bye y'all.